So you can't see this, but hopefully you can hear it. Behind every Boise State Public Radio podcast is a team working hard to bring you stories that matter. So if you value podcasts like this one, please support them. Hit donate at boisestatepublicradio.org. Thanks.
It's The Connector, Idaho Daily News for Thursday, January 9th. Good morning. I'm Troy Oppie. Republicans in Idaho say out-of-state money is tainting the initiative process, grassroots campaigns that Idahoans use to create new laws, and it should be harder for citizens to pass new laws in the state. We'll get that story from James Dawson this morning. Plus, Boise Fire sending resources to help in Los Angeles. An update on the snowpack data in Idaho mountains. And grizzly bears keeping their endangered species protections. It's The Connector from Boise State Public Radio News. As wildfires continue to rage in the Los Angeles area, the National Interagency Fire Center, based in Boise, raised its fire preparedness level yesterday to 2. That's on a scale of 1 to 5, and it's higher than usual for this time of year. Firefighting resources are arriving in California from all over the country to help, including from Idaho. The State Office of Emergency Management yesterday says more than 100 personnel and 25 engines are deploying this morning to arrive Friday in California, and Idaho could send more if needed. The personnel come from across the state, including from the city of Emmett, Kootenai County, and Idaho National Laboratory Fire Departments. City of Boise Fire Department says it already sent a brush rig and 4 crew members to Los Angeles and is planning to deploy additional resources to LA later today. Specifics are still being worked out, according to the Boise Fire spokesperson. Future ballot initiatives and referendums would need to pass with 60% support from voters in Idaho under a new bill introduced yesterday. James Dawson has more.
Republican Representative Bruce Skog says out-of-state money is tainting what should be grassroots campaigns Idahoans use to create new laws.
The initiative process is broken. This is one way to level the playing field a little bit.
The recent open primaries and ranked choice voting initiative took in 80% of its campaign money from out-of-state donors. Since the initiative process was put into the state constitution, only 55% of the 38 qualified ballot issues have passed. The proposed 60% threshold would have cut that number of successful initiatives and referendums in half. Democratic Representative Todd Achilles says supporters of the bill need to offer more evidence to prove there's a problem with the process.
Putting a 60% threshold on citizens, on Idaho citizens, when we as legislators only have a 50% threshold. So I think we have to justify that more clearly.
The bill could receive a public hearing as early as this week. James Dawson, Boise State Public Radio News.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service yesterday upheld endangered species protections for grizzly bears in the contiguous United States, rebuffing efforts by Idaho, Montana, and Wyoming to bring management of the species under state control without federal protections. The service also proposed a new strategy of managing grizzly populations across the Northwest and Northern Rockies as a single population instead of 6 smaller groups, and a revision of bear conflict mitigation policy. The rule proposals will enter a 60-day public comment period when they're published in the coming days. Idaho Governor Brad Little slammed the decision in a statement, blaming the Biden administration for disregarding the science and ignoring grizzly bear recovery in western states that has exceeded criteria. Grizzly populations in 2 of the 6 western recovery areas have grown well in the greater Yellowstone and northern Continental Divide ecosystems, but wildlife advocates say other recovery areas in Idaho, Montana, and Washington have not seen successful grizzly bear population recovery. According to the U.S. Drought Monitor, 90% of Idaho is currently experiencing unusually dry conditions. The latest numbers on the state's snowpack shows precipitation might turn things around. Julie Luqueta has more.
The latest report from the Natural Resources Conservation Service shows Idaho's snowpack has significantly improved since the beginning of December. Water supply specialist for the service, Aaron Wharton, says the year is off to a great start.
Last year at this time, the snowpack was very low and very below normal, and now we have a near normal or above normal snowpack.
Snowpack improved from 70% to approximately 90% of normal in the Snake River headwaters and Henry's Fork Teton. Eastern and southern Idaho experienced 110 to 130% of normal precipitation in the last month,
This year, we were predicted to be in La Nina conditions, which typically are wetter and cooler across the Pacific Northwest.
La Nina is a natural fluctuation of the jet stream, which brings warmer temperatures to the south and cooler temps to the north. Wharton says it bodes well for Idaho's water supply.
When we have a strong start to our snowpack year, this means that we have abundant water for our agricultural needs in the state, for our recreational needs in the rivers and lakes.
While the snowpack is looking good, especially compared to last year, Wharton says the total water year precipitation for 2024 remains low due to an abnormally dry and hot October. Julie Duqueta, Boise State Public Radio News.
And now an update to a story you heard yesterday on The Connector about influenza deaths in Idaho this season. I reported that one flu fatality in Canyon County recently may have also been the first in the state this year. It was the first in the Southwest Health District, but was not the first in the state. According to the Department of Health and Welfare seasonal illness tracker at the Get Healthy Idaho website, 13 people in Idaho have died of the flu as of December 28th. All have been over the age of 50. Here's Dr. David Pate, the former St. Luke's CEO, speaking yesterday during his weekly conversation on Idaho Matters.
They tend to lag in their reporting, so I'm certainly concerned. Australia, that we usually use because they have their flu season right before ours, they reported it was one of their worst seasons on record. So I suspect this is going to be a bad flu season for us. I don't know how bad.
Pate says the U.S. got a late start to the flu season this year. 42 Idahoans died of the flu last season, including 3 people under the age of 50, according to State Health and Welfare. Medical professionals urge people to get an annual flu shot in order to be protected from severe infection. That's The Connector for this Thursday, January 9th. I'm Troy Oppie. Our news director is Sasha Woodruff. Our general manager is Tom Michael. We love hearing from you. Send us a note in our Boise State Public Radio app for your smartphone. You can also email us, boisestatepublicradio@boisestate.edu.